afternoon and welcome to Roy Wilkins Auditorium for the 2014 PowerHockey Cup. As today we have the third place game between two Canadian teams that know each other really well, the Ottawa Capitals against the Calgary Selects. I'm very honored to be joined by longtime Gopher and North Star announcer Wally Shaver. Thanks for being with us.
Jerry, it's absolutely my pleasure to be here. I've been involved with the PowerHockey Association here in Minnesota for about 18 years now.
Really? That's great.
Working with their golf tournaments and a couple of the other occasions when the International PowerHockey Cup has been hosted here in Minnesota. It's just great. They're outstanding individual people. Mentally extremely sharp, but as we can see, they're obviously physically handicapped, but that doesn't prevent them to get out and really enjoy a sport that they really, truly play with a great amount of passion.
Right, and now we'll have O Canada.
All right, and we're ready to go. This is the third place game of the tournament. One other game will be played later on this evening. It will feature the Philadelphia Power Play versus the two-time defending champion Minnesota Saints. But it's been a great tournament so far, Jerry. We've had good spectator support, and certainly the efforts of these performers on the court here have been absolutely breathtaking to watch. Good close games, and we've seen some dramatic comebacks and some outstanding play on behalf of these power hockey players.
Right, especially Calgary, who in the quarterfinals, they beat the Minnesota Selects in overtime 2-1. And then Ottawa really had a great game last night against the Philadelphia Power Play. They led 2-0 going into the third period, and then Philadelphia on the power play scored with about 7 minutes left, and then scored not too long afterwards, and ended up winning 3-2 in overtime to set up the games today.
So Calgary is going to be wearing the red jerseys tonight. Actually, the black. Both of these teams wear red normally, but we don't want two teams of red out there. It would confuse us, we know that, but probably confuse the players as well. So Ottawa will be wearing their customary reds, while it's been some borrowed jerseys here for the black-clad Calgary Selects. Right off the top, things are tied up along the boards. Right below us is a Harb in the red. Gives some chase, but meanwhile, it's the Calgary Selects in control. Moving it around is Mike Falconer, wearing number 34. Shifts wide to the outside, flings one goalward, and it bounces wide of the Ottawa goal. McBride is in goal for the Ottawa team and has been a stalwart. Played 5 of the games so far. Played in every one of them with the exception of about 5 minutes of play, and comes in with a very nice average of 2.66, having allowed only 13 goals in her 5 games. Now with the ball is number 11, Roddy Harb. Harb's been a good playmaker throughout this tournament so far, has 2 goals and 4 assists on it. Also 18 minutes and penalty minutes.
Wow.
In 5 games. Leading the entire tournament in PMs. Now back into the zone for Ottawa. Trying to fish it out. Harb comes in. Roddy Harb wearing the glasses, trying to dig it free. couple of players down there as well, including number 16, Rachel Dean. And she's tied up along with a couple of other players along the boards. Mike Falconer in there as well, and that'll stall play.
Now, Mike has had an excellent tournament, 10 goals and 1 assist. He's tied with Nathan Grossklaus for the team lead in points with 11. And Falconer had 6 goals in their 10-1 victory over the Toronto Lake Raiders.
Wow. Yeah, 10 goals on the tournament so far, averaging 2 a game. Ball bounces high in the air, and you may have noticed on the face-off, and all face-offs, the referees do not stand in there and drop the ball. When you've got 300-pound wheelchairs ready to roll over you, they get out of the way. So It's a whistle, and then you play it off the whistle. There is offsides. It is the center ice white line that you see. That determines offsides. It's very similar to ice hockey in that fashion.
I do like that there's no icing.
Yes, that's a good thing.
Yes.
Now here's an opportunity. Trying to wheel down after it is Moses York. Has good speed and good ball control that we saw from the first game of this tournament. York trying to drag it out of there, but Mike Falconer has control. Each of these teams has a grading system that picks the level of the players. Each team is allowed one level 1 player, and then they have a variety of level 2 and level 3s, and that is all based on physical mobility capabilities, and that's why at any one time you can only have your number 1 out there. You'll notice they'll be the ones that primarily will do the majority of the stick handling, the majority of the shooting. They're just much more fluid because they have much more physical capabilities. Falconer is down there digging away. He is the number 1 on that team. Flores coming back. His pass in front is blocked by number 51, Keith Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais rides him out into the corner, but a quick turn by York as Moses tries to center. It's blocked. Now speeding away, Ben Thorne has it. Thorne coming up court for Calgary, tries a long shot, but is blocked en route. Moses York regaining control, back up the right wing side, trying to push it into the zone, chases it down in the corner, centers it out in front. There's a loose ball there, grabbed off by the Selects of Calgary.
Ottawa playing a little more conservative. Normally you have 3 players in the attacking zone and 1 defender before the goalie. Here Ottawa's usually been keeping 2 players back.
Tie up in front of the goal. Thalia McBride back in the nets for Ottawa, just checking things out, but now it's brought loose by Moses. Moses York coming up the right wing. A little traffic as they run into each other. A lot of the penalties called in this sport are similar to ice hockey, but they really do focus on checking where the 2 chairs would come together. You're going to see it incidental contact where they're both kind of angling into each other, but any T-boning or that kind of stuff draws a minor penalty. Calgary dropping it off, and a long shot by Falconer from near center court goes wide. We'll have a face-off, but first both teams are going to make their initial player changes.
My mistake, Wally. Calgary actually was up on Philly 2-0 and then lost 3-2. And Ottawa lost to the Minnesota Saints 8-1. And one of those real high-scoring players we'll see later is Chad Wilson, as he had 7 goals in the semifinal game for the Minnesota Saints.
Well, in that Calgary game, they were 7 minutes away from going into the championship game. Got tied up by Philadelphia with 2 late goals, including one with a minute to go, and then lost it in overtime. Long shot from about 20 feet out is deflected wide by McBride in goal for Ottawa, capital of Canada. In behind the goal, Ben Thorne trying to cut out in front, hands it off. Taking control is Sean Paul. Paul going all the way around the net, tries to play it out in front. Blocked off before Nathan Grossklaus can get to it. And then it's launched but ends up going out of play. Faceoff will be back to the right of the Ottawa goal.
In the 2008 championships, Mike Falconer had a phenomenal tournament. In 8 games, he was one of the leaders. 18 goals, 4 assists for 22 points.
From the faceoff, good stick handling by Sean Paul as he takes it deep into the Ottawa zone. Paul looking to center, but it's deflected away from him. Clear it out. Swings past Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais will hustle back for Calgary and control the ball before handing it off. Calgary selects back to the side of their goal cage. Headman pass and brought back up court now by Sean Paul. Paul breaks at center. You see the teammates in black waiting at the center line so they don't cross early for an offside. Paul still is in control. Now he lifts it into the zone. Back to the defense, though, where it's tied up there by Chris Pavone. Chris Pavone, rather, tries to play it up along the boards. Just sends it to the outside wall. Several players in trying to dig it free. No score. We played just over 5 minutes of our third place game. Now back up the right wing side. Here's Johnson Wilson. Wilson with the shades on, going down into the corner, lost out on the play. Number 9 is Mohammed Awad with 4 goals in this tournament, second on the Ottawa team in scoring. Now back the other direction, they score. A nice breakout effort, and it's Sean Paul getting the first goal of this third place game. This goes to show what a good play up court can do, eh?
Yeah, that's for sure. And again, the pressure that Calgary's been putting on finally pays off. These teams met in the 2013 championships, as here you'll see a replay.
Now it looks like Bourbonnais is the one that flung it up, and a nice pickup by Paul. Good little deke right out in front of the net, and sends it home. 1-0, Calgary.
Sean Paul's 6th goal of the tournament.
But we know how tenuous a lead can be for the Calgary Selects based on that last game that they played here in this tournament. 8 teams are in this tournament, 3 from Canada and 5 from the U.S., including Philadelphia, Carolina, Michigan, and 2 Minnesota-based teams. And then 3 Canadian teams, 1 from Calgary, 1 from Toronto, and this team in Ottawa. Ottawa and Calgary in our third place game here.
And in the Canadian Championships last year, it was 1-1 until very late in the game when Calgary scored with 5 seconds left to win the championship 2-1.
Calgary in the dark. Behind their own net, as Sean Paul launches a long high one down court. Now racing after it to gain control is Nathan Grosclose. Grosclose hands it back to Paul, lifts one. It bounces wide of McBride, in goal for Ottawa. Harb down there trying to contain Grosclose. Able to do so. Harb plays it away, but right on the stick of Harb, it turns and shoots. That goes wide. The rebound, they score. That was actually Paul who turned and shot, and Grosclose is going to get credit for the goal. And Calgary quickly speeds up to a 2-0 lead.
Natalia McBride got a piece of it and was trying to keep it out of the net, but was just unable to. As there you see the tail end of it, as now Calgary up by a couple.
Yeah, 2 goals in 53 seconds here. I believe it'll be Grosclose getting the goal, which would be his 4th of the tournament. Captain of the Calgary Selects. Face off back at center court. Off the draw, pulled back by Moses York. York goes after it along the left side.
Calgary, number 35, Sean Paul. And the first goal, also on the second goal, scoring for Calgary, number 35, Sean Paul.
Well, they are giving that second goal to Paul as well. So 2 goals in a mere 53 seconds for the lad. Sean Paul, 42 years of age, the oldest player in this game here this afternoon.
And on the other end of the spectrum, Jake Sexton from Philadelphia, who's the leading point getter in the tournament. He's only 13, and he's a whale of a player already.
Isn't that something? 13 years old.
I know.
He's also second in the tournament in goal scoring with 18, behind only Minnesota Saints' Chad Wilson. They'll be going head-to-head in that championship game later on this evening. It's 2-0 here with Calgary
Again, we have
leading Ottawa.
outstanding graphics in our CTV truck, but actually Calgary is leading Ottawa 2-0. Hopefully we can get that switched around for you.
Meanwhile, play is jammed up in behind the goal. Harb in the red-clad Ottawa Capitals plays around off the boards to center court. Trying to get in there is Moses York. Cleared away from him and deep into the Ottawa zone once again. Calgary seems to have them, Jerry, a little bit back on their heels right now with that quick 2-goal burst.
Right, just their pressure has been pretty constant, and Ottawa was playing a little bit of a heavier defensive game anyway, and just right now they have things bottled up pretty well in the Ottawa zone.
Save for Thalia McBride, as there was some really good ball control there by Nathan Grousclose. He's the bearded wonder for the Selects. Moves off to the left wing, and taking the face-off here will be Mike Falconer. Falconer on the draw with Roddy Harb, an assistant captain for Ottawa. Harb pushes it ahead. York after a long shot. That just sails wide of the Calgary goal. Stays in behind the net. Scooped up, and the Selects are trying to clear it ahead. It's the captain, Grousclose. Getting it up ahead for Paul. Launches a long one. Knocked down in front. Goes off into the side. Taken by the Ottawa Cats. Number 16 down there is Rachel Dean. We do have a whistle as a couple of chairs are locked up a little bit. Face-off will remain in the Ottawa zone.
Calgary unable to wear their red jerseys tonight, but they're very similar to the Calgary Flames shirts. And in the championship, you'll see with the Philadelphia Power Play, very similar to the Flyers jerseys.
6:16 remaining in our first period here. 2-0 Calgary on both goals scored by the veteran Sean Paul. Taking control, turning and wheeling is Gerald Doucette. Passes off target. Bounces high in the air right out in front of the Ottawa goal. Doucette speeds over to grab control now for Calgary. And it's jammed up along the boards. We'll have a face-off to the right of the net.
One thing you'll notice with Keith Bourbonnais, who's been playing defense here for Calgary, his stick is actually lodged onto the chair, and he's just able to move his chair around in order to try and control the puck.
Limited mobility. A lot of these performers in this tournament have muscular dystrophy, so it does obviously have hamper their physical limitations, but that's a good point because you'll see some of the players have one hand on the stick, the other on their motor control, but in a case like Bourbonnais, it's just mounted right to his chair as he's a level 3 player. Pass is chopped up court now by Harb. Trying to carry on is York. And hits a long shot and scores. York getting a badly needed goal for Ottawa to bring them right back into this game. York has good speed and a nice passing play from a Harb. They connected twice in the first game of this tournament the same way.
That's Roddy Harb, the assistant captain. That's his 5th assist of the tournament. And Moses York with his 8th tally. So you cut the lead in half. Very nicely done.
Mohamed Awad back into his own end. Harb takes the pass, then launches it back up court. Awad after it, bounces off the goalkeeper and stays just wide of the net. Now flung out in front. There's a loose ball there. Harb controls, but it's swept away and off to the side on a good effort by Falconer. But it looks like we're going to have a penalty on the play here.
Yes, it does. It looks like it's going to go against Calgary.
It'll be Bourbonnais going off. And that comes at the 9:54 mark, just 24 seconds after the Ottawa goal. So a big chance now for Ottawa as they go back up onto the power play. Ottawa has one person in the power play goal department. That was Mohamed Awad. He has one goal in this tournament with the manpower advantage. But it'll be York taking the face-off. Moses York. It'll be a 4-on-3 situation right now. Keep in mind that in power hockey, there are just 4 players up out of the net and 1 goaltender. Cleared down by Paul. Harb after it to the side of his goal. Turning. Try to flip it ahead. It was blocked and stays in. Good job by Calgary to keep the ball down there to eat up a few more seconds. Back it comes to the defense. Controlled by Sean Paul. And then relayed back down court by Mike Falconer. Good job killing by Calgary. 1:05 left in the man advantage now for Ottawa. Another penalty being called. This one is interference. It'll go against Calgary's number 11, Roddy Harb.
So we'll be 3-on-3 for 66 seconds, and then a brief power play for Calgary.
Roddy Harb leads the league in penalty minutes here in this tournament. Now at 20.
Wow.
In fact, the top 2 penalty minutes players are both from Ottawa, Harb and Moses York, who's out there right now to take the face-off for the red-clad Ottawa Capitals. 3-on-3 now. Ball out in front. Turning quickly is Ben Thorne, number 44. Thorne playing it in behind the Ottawa goal. Whacking away at it is Mike Falconer, trying to dump it out in front. Trying to deflect it in. And it bounces off the goalkeeper, Thalia McBride, and just wide. Now York getting a headman pass for Blaine Cameron. Cameron trying to cut in. Lost his stick. Chopped away, and back the other direction comes Falconer, who'll just try to clear it down to the late offside. Everybody onside, so we're okay to go. Paul again with the ball. Long shot. Blocked out in front of the Calgary or the Ottawa net. 2-1's our score. 3:15 to go in our first period. Just 8 seconds left in the first minor penalty against Calgary. Then they'll have a short-lived power play for just under a minute.
Nice save there by Jeff Barrett, coming into today 3-2 on the tournament with a goals against average just a shade under 2.
Keith Bourbonnais back on the floor, so it's a power play now for Calgary, and they launch the attack up the right side. Long play by Falconer, goes off into the corner. York gets in there first for the shorthanded Ottawa Caps. Lost it as Falconer digging away, grabs control, and shoots one just slow and wide of the net. Paul with both goals in this game for Calgary. They have it out in front. There's a shot. McBride makes the save right on the goal line. Ball is stuck under their chair, comes free, pushed out of there by Ben Thorne, and then slowly rolls back to around center court. Calgary can't hold it in, so they'll circle back into their own zone to get onside. Thorne back down into the Ottawa zone. Penalty now expires to Harb. He's back on, so we're back to full strength of 4-on-4 hockey with 2:05 remaining in our first period, and a pause as the ball goes out of play.
This rink is 100 feet by 50 feet, so half of an Olympic-sized rink. Wally, has there been any more talk about Mariucci maybe shrinking the ice surface a little bit?
There is talk about that for Golden Gopher hockey. It might be a little off while they go through a fundraising campaign to do not only that, but do some other improvements to the facility, which is now 20 years old and never really has had much of an upgrade.
Right. Speaking of fundraising, it sure was a shame that Bob McNamara passed away.
Yes, it was. A tremendous local person here in the Twin Cities who's been a very big part of the University of Minnesota over the years. He and his brother Pinky, both outstanding athletes in their day. Play in the Ottawa zone to the left of their net. 2-1 score with a minute and a half to go in our opening period of play. Here from Roy Wilkins Auditorium. One-time home of pro and high school hockey in the state of Minnesota. Long shot from center court by Awad is deflected wide. Taking a whack at it now is Sean Paul, knocked down by a Watt, and it stays in the zone. Jeff Barrett in goal for Calgary Selects. A Watt at center court. Has a bounce away from him. Harb corrals it. Circles back into his own zone. Now picking up some speed.
45 seconds.
Harb stick handling around. Headman pass to a Watt. He goes over to the sideboards. Is tied up there momentarily with Ben Thorne. Ball pops free and rolls back it deeper into the zone. Rachel Dean down to shag the ball. Dean has it knocked away. Harb goes around to his net. Stick handling through a little bit of traffic as a little bit of a pick being set up by Scott Haycock in front of him. Dumps it down into the zone, gives chase. Bourbonnais trying to shoot it. A Watt will try to get one last shot with a half a dozen seconds left, but it bounces off a chair and back into the Ottawa side of center court. And that's going to do it for our opening period of play here from the Roy.
A very big goal late by Moses York to get Ottawa back into this contest. Again, when these teams met last year in the Canadian Championships, it was a 2-1 Calgary final, and that's the score that we have right now in a very well-played first period.
It sure was. 2 goals scored early on by Calgary, both of them coming off the stick of Sean Paul, his 6th and 7th goals of the tournament. They came just 53 seconds apart at 6:04 and 6:57. And then, as Jerry just said, the lone goal for the Ottawa Capitals coming off the stick of Moses York, his team leading 8th goal of the tournament at 9:30 the period. And that's where we stand after our first 15-minute period. 2 minutes to go in the intermission. We will be back for our second period of hockey in just a moment.
Welcome back to Roy Wilkins Auditorium here for the third place game of the 2014 PowerHockey Cup. 2-1 is the lead for Calgary in a very well-played first period. These teams very familiar with each other, and looking forward here to the next couple of periods, Waller.
Yes, we are. Calgary Selects have had 2 PowerHockey Cup championships in their belt back in 2006. and 2008 they were champs in just their second and third tournaments that they ever participated in. The 06 tournament was held right in Calgary, while the 08 one was held here in Minneapolis, which is the last time that the Power Hockey Cup was played in Minnesota.
Yep, and that was at Augsburg College.
Yes. Calgary leading this game 2-1 over the Ottawa Capitals. Capitals wearing the black, while Calgary is in red and black. I got that reversed. Ottawa is in the red, while Calgary is in the black. Normally a red-clad team, but we couldn't have two of those out here at the same time.
No.
We get messed up easy enough as it is.
Exactly. No, I do.
Wally Shaver and Jerry York with you. Second period hockey is underway. Calgary on the rush. Down the left side, they tie it up along the side boards, trying to center. Harb has got some good coverage going. Now stealing the ball is Moses York for Ottawa, and it's cleared down court. Blocked by Bourbonnais for Calgary. Ball scooped up by Paul, flung ahead. Opportunity now as Grossklaus goes off to the sideboards, forced wide. Still in control, however, spinning around to the left. Looking to play it out in front of the goaltender McBride, but good coverage there by the red-clad Ottawa Capitals. Now it's popped out in front, taken away and scooped up by Captain Scott Haycock, who leaves it for Moses York. Trying to fling it ahead for a breaking Harb, doesn't click. York will take it again to the left of his net. Had to bounce it off the boards, but is unable to do so. Blocked there by number 35, Sean Paul, who has both goals in this game for Calgary. Around the net they go, handing it off to Grossklaus. Breaks and heads back the other direction. Still bounding around. Taken by Grossklaus. His centering pass is blocked. Finally taken by Roddy Harb. He circles off to the left with good coverage being watched there by Sean Paul.
Talia McBride facing a lot of pressure. It's got to be difficult for a goaltender, considering you're going back and forth. You can't really see behind you, so you're relying a lot on your defense to call out where the ball is.
Yeah, and there is an interesting rule in power hockey is that goaltenders cannot make saves with their legs. It has to be the chair or the stick. So that's why you see them sitting at an angle, very contrary to what we're used to with ice hockey.
Right.
Boards have come loose a little bit. They're Velcroed together here. It looks like some player changes going on.
One thing you were mentioning earlier with the Gophers, of course, it's great to see so many players coming back. Usually the Gophers lose a decent number of players to the NHL, and this year that hasn't happened except for graduated players.
No, that's been a real bonus for the team, I think, and why they will be one of the favorites in the NCAA this coming hockey season.
Right.
They didn't lose anybody to the pros, 4 to graduation, unlike the year before where they lost I think 1 or 2 to graduation and 5 to the pros, which was a decimating blow to them. Mm-hmm. And still getting all the way to the national championship game.
Exactly.
Penalty in Calgary, number 44, Thorne, for dangerous driving.
Thorne is off for dangerous driving. I wish they'd call that penalty on a few of the freeways around here. So power play, Calgary.
I don't think there's enough referees to call them on the freeways, though. Ben Thorne scored the game winner in their 2-1 overtime victory over the Minnesota Selects in the quarterfinals of this tournament. In the 5th place game earlier today, the Michigan Mustangs beat up on the Minnesota Selects, winning, I believe it was 6-0.
Yeah. Short-handed are the black-clad Calgary Selects. They do win the face-off in the attack zone. Turn and shoot, and McBride makes a save on that short-handed attempt.
Nice save by Talia.
Yeah, a good shot by Mike Falconer as well. Falconer digging free, has the ball, brings it all the way back into his own zone to kill off some valuable time. Nice job. He's being pursued by Roddy Harb. Falconer around his goal. Still in control. Speeding down that left side like he's got a Hemi under that chair. Now tied up finally and slowed down by Ottawa as they box him off. Rolls slowly all the way back. Easy stop for netminder Jeff Barrett. Barrett coming into this game with a sparkling 1.99 goals against average, which makes him the top goaltender in the tournament. Calgary, a good defensive team with their posture. Power play. Finally, Moses York has it, rounds his net, sends it up ice for Harb, tries to dance around the last defender, but can't get away from Keith Bourbonnais, who rides him off into the end boards. Support offered by Falconer, trying to cut out in front. Falconer goes behind the net, tries to stuff it. Nope, he's going to just dump it all the way back.
Calgary, full strength.
Full strike now for Calgary, having killed off that 2-minute minor penalty.
You were mentioning, Wally, about the speed of these wheelchairs. They're supposed to keep it under 9 miles an hour, but I don't know exactly how you can measure how fast they're going.
Got to get a good charge.
Yeah.
Like you and I do with our phones. Here's Moses York down the right wing. York, number 7 in the red-clad Ottawa Caps. Knocked off his stick by Falconer. Falconer speeding up the right, launches a long one, blocked out in front off the head and shoulders of Scott Haycock. Good job there to get in front of that shot. Now another steal, one-on-one. Here's Falconer going in, tries to lift it. Once more, Haycock gets a piece of that, deflecting it wide.
Nice back checking by Moses York. He got a piece of it.
Popped out in front from over top of the goal by Falconer. McBride helped to deflect it a little bit, looking like a soccer header out there. Harb in front of the net. Players cannot go into the goal crease area, so keep that in mind. And now a delayed call is going to go up against number 34, Mike Falconer, as he's in that goal crease, and that's going to cost him a minor penalty. And it's 8:51 to go in the period, so this penalty will come at 6:09.
Yep, I think the officials are explaining that to him.
And you have to have that protected area. You know, it makes a lot of sense in this sport.
Right.
These chairs are heavy. They're dangerous. I remember a few years ago, Jerry, in the tournament in Augsburg, there was a couple of players in that tournament that broke bones.
Really?
Of course, a lot of these players, are quite fragile anyway, being afflicted with muscular dystrophy. So it is an issue, and they like to keep that crease totally clear. You're not going to get a Zach Parisi rush to the net in this sport.
No. Dennis Falconer having a discussion with the Ottawa coach. Oh no, I'm sorry, the Calgary. The coaches for Calgary are wearing red, so. One thing I was going to mention, Ottawa's coach Dean Delorier was on the 2008 Olympics in Nagano and the Paralympic Games, and he was the goalie for ice sled for Canada. He said his favorite game was they had a draw with the United States 1-1.
Our score here, 2-1 still for Calgary Selects. All the scoring back in the opening period. Both goals coming off the stick of Sean Paul for Calgary to give them the lead. They are now in a shorthanded situation, and this is Grossklaus circling the wagons and maintaining very good control. Speeds up the left side, shorthanded, looking for somebody for support, but he'll have to take it alone. Goes down into the corner, spinning around, and just trying to eat up some valuable time, jamming it along the end boards. Good job of penalty killing by the Selects.
Moses York and Roddy Harb both doing really well for Ottawa in this tournament, as they have over 60% of the capital scoring.
York had the ball, then lost it. Shorthanded once again. Down to the corner, Gross-Klaus trying to turn off the wall. Still continuing to eat up time. He's done a magnificent job penalty killing. Good ball control with that stick of his. These are all plastic sticks. Now caught up to by York, but still maintaining control. Boy, what a way to eat up this penalty. Fantastic job.
Indeed.
Finally, Ottawa brings their power play into the attack zone. And it bounces, unfortunately, out of play just as they were trying to get something going. And a big round of ovation going up for Calgary on this fantastic penalty kill job, which has just ended. 2-1 score. Third place game. You heard a little bit of a collision between two chairs there. Ball back to the right of the Calgary goal. Handoff. Moving around is Mike Falconer. Circles his goal. Little screen being placed in front of him by Keith Bourbonnais. Falconer now launches one all the way down. Pounces by number 16 in the chair there, Rachel Dean. She'll go after him behind the goal. Has plenty of support there. Play stall. It's getting pretty crowded down there with all those chairs behind that net.
Sure is.
Trying to turn out in front was Ben Thorne, number 44. Can't get to it. The bald-headed Mike Falconer now digging away at the side of the Ottawa goal, trying to jam it into the crease. You'll notice everybody is staying clear of that white-lined crease out there. Falconer trying to hold it in. Back it comes to the point. Bourbonnais trying to dig it out of the wheels of his chair. Circles back into defensive mode instead, allowing his teammates to relay it back in. But Rachel Dean is there for Ottawa in the red. Gross-Klaus to Falconer. Falconer digging. Dean trying to break it up. Does, playing it ahead, not out. Kept alive. Long shot blocked out in front of the net. Good job by Scott Haycock once again. He's been very solid defensively. Boy, he's blocked about 4 shots already here in this period.
Right, yeah, very impressive.
10 of 15 minutes have gone by, and we have a whistle. Face-off will come to the left of the Ottawa goal. It's 2-1. Calgary leading Ottawa.
Of course, there's no moorings here for anchoring the net, so it is surprising with the size of these wheelchairs that the net doesn't get moved around more often.
Yeah.
Of course, right next door is the XL Energy Center and the Al Shaver press box. How's your father doing?
He's doing great. Just
Super.
spoke to him 2 nights ago,
Okay.
and enjoying life up on Vancouver Island and
Beautiful.
taking it easy at 87 years young. He and my mom are kind of staying at home right now, but they get up in the morning breathing, and that's what counts.
Yeah.
It was nice opening ceremonies here. We had 2 former NHLers, Bob Paradise and Tom Chorsky, 2 Twin Cities
really?
natives that
Sure.
were here and did some ceremonial face-offs. And I had to tell my dad that Bob Paradise wished him a very large hello. Awad behind his goal for Harb. Harb going to the right. Tries to pass it ahead. It's blocked. Nathan Gross-Klaus getting it back, and a long bouncing shot just wide, taken by Mike Falconer.
In pool play action, Ottawa beat the Minnesota Selects 3-1 and the Michigan Mustangs 6-4 before losing to the Philly Power Play 6-1.
Falconer reaching, trying to break up a play. Awad trying to dig it loose, stuck under the chair for a moment, spinning around. Still trying to find control. block. Faulkner now has it, one-on-one. Faulkner trying to go to the right on the outside. The attempt was thwarted, and it's now taken control by Blaine Cameron. Cameron, number 73 at 41 years of age, the oldest player on the Ottawa roster.
Yeah, very good defensive play in front by Hollis Pierce, the captain for Ottawa.
Back in his own end is Faulkner. We're seeing some pretty good control in this period here by Calgary now, despite the fact that they've been short twice. Trying to pad that lead over Ottawa. It's 2-1 Calgary leading right now. 3:14 to go in our second session. Mohamed Awad, long lifting shot, right on goal. Easy stop there for Jeff Barrett. Again, he's the tournament's top goaltender so far. Faulkner digging in. We have a whistle. Now it looks like a slashing penalty is going to be whistled to Gerald Doucette. Is he the one, the guilty party? .12:08 time of the call.
Mohamed Awad will get a breather. He's the second leading scorer for Ottawa in the tournament with 4 goals and 2 helpers. Yeah, you're right. Doucette will get the penalty.
Well, it's not helping Calgary at all, getting all these penalties. That's the 4th minor penalty they've been hit with in this game. Third one here in this period. Face-off spotted back in their zone to the left of the net. Faulkner will take the face-off. Against York. Ball deflects out off the draw, right out of play. Have to wait for the whistle before they can make a play on the ball. Third to the boards. York trying to dig it out. Does, handing it off to Harb. Try to slide it underneath the chair over to York. Does. York reaching in. Has to back up. Harb as well, but a good reach in by Faulkner. Can he kill it off like he did last time? But Blaine Cameron's not allowing him to make much further progress. York scoops up the ball. Heads down the right wing. Nice job. York down into the corner. Forced outside by 2 defending players for Calgary. Behind the goal, Grasklaus to Faulkner. Sticking around, York chops it away. Ball still loose. Harb reaches, can't get to it. Regained by Faulkner. Again, slowing up and finally launching one all the way down and wide of the goal. Scott Haycock lets it go off into the corner. York behind his net. Power play number 4 of this game. No goals by either team with manpower advantage. York across the line. Everybody stays onside. York giving chase to the corner, trying to get away from Bourbonnais. Plays it around the net. Bourbonnais, the defense, goes out in front, parks his chair there. You see the action right down below in the corner, dug loose, and it is Faulkner controlling. Mike Faulkner, long shot, launched high and over top the goal out of play.
You were mentioning the modification of wheelchairs, Wally, and talking to Chad Wilson, the leading goal scorer, earlier today. He was on the front page of the St. Paul Pioneer Press Sports yesterday.
Yeah.
He said he had his modified to where the joystick he could control with his left hand, and that way he could shoot with his right. He had it switched around.
Oh, good point. Cameron, the veteran, over to Harb. Roddy goes to the side of his net. Coming on around, bouncing one out to center ice. Block, stop, several players after it. Still 15 seconds left in the power play for Ottawa, who trail 2-1. A minute to go in the period.
1 minute remaining in the period.
Faulkner, again bouncing one. That one carries left of the goal. York back for it. 7 goals, leads this team in scoring here through the first 5 games of this tournament. It's the final game for both of these teams as we're playing for 3rd place here today. Shot goes just wide. Scooped up by York, trying to pass to Cameron. Looks like a delayed penalty coming. And an interference call. I believe that one's going to go against Ottawa. Harb is going to get the gate. Called at 19-27. Just the second power play in the game now for Calgary. 2-goal lead. Excuse me, a 1-goal lead. Can they capitalize here with 33 seconds left in the period? Falconer on the draw. Tries to play it out in front. Can't get it threaded through for Grossklaus. Tied for the scoring lead on this team with Falconer, both with 11 points coming into this game. Shot goes wide of the net. 10 seconds left. Is there enough time to pry it loose and get a centering pass for a shot? One last attempt, but number 19 in the red down there, Haycock, is keeping it contained behind the goal, and that's enough to have the clock tick down to 0 and end 2 periods of hockey here at Roy Wilkins Auditorium.
So Calgary will have 86 seconds left on the power play to start the third period. Surprisingly, a scoreless second period, as Paul had the 2 goals for Calgary in the first. York had the lone goal for Ottawa, and should make for a very close-knit and exciting third period coming up.
We'll step aside for just a moment. 2-1 after 2. Calgary leading Ottawa as the Canadian rivalry continues. We'll be back for more. The third place game in third period hockey after this short break. We welcome you back for a third period of hockey here at Roy Wilkins Auditorium. This is the third place game of the Power Hockey Cup 2014. the 6th time this tournament has been held, several times up in Canada, and the 4th time it's been held here in the state of Minnesota. Right now, this third place game is 2-1 in favor of the Calgary Selects. They're wearing the red jerseys today. Make that the black jerseys. Ottawa is in the red. And they'll start this period shorthanded on a carryover penalty to the tournament's leading penalty getter, Roddy Harb, who still has about a minute and a half of time to serve in our third period. So, shorthanded, reaching in is Moses York off the center draw, but it's grabbed and flung wide by Falconer. That's Mike Falconer with 10 goals in this tournament so far. Falconer is 4th overall in tournament scoring coming into this third place game, in goal scoring that is. And he currently ranks 4th as well in overall points in the tournament. All jammed up behind the net. Falconer, the bald-headed lad in the black-clad Calgary Selects, jammed up along the back of the goal cage. Will face it off now to the left of netminder Thalia McBride. She entered this tournament with a goals against average of 2.66. That ranked 3rd overall in the tournament. I tell you what's impressive is Jeff Barrett is in goal for Calgary, and not only has got the leading goals against average, but he's also made the most saves. York with the ball. Bringing Ottawa around his net. Angles back to the left. Zooming up court. Banks it off the boards, but it's intercepted there by number 34, Falconer. Back he comes short-handed. Launches it off into the corner. That'll eat up some time. Falconer and York going in together for it. York coming away, but is pinned. A neat little pass. Gets it ahead to Cameron. He'll fling it ahead. But getting back is the captain, Nathan Grossklaus. Nathan stopping as Bourbonnais is setting up a pick in front of him. Bourbonnais angles left. Falconer heads to the right. Forced wide, though, by the forechecking pressure being applied by Moses York, who then gains a steal. Has to go to the side of the net. Trying to push it out in front. Bumps chairs there with Falconer as they two go in with elbows and wheelchairs up a little bit. Bounce down court. Cameron back for it. Blaine Cameron flipping it ahead. Bounces back into the zone. Bourbonnais lets it go. And Grossklaus has it again. To Falconer. Long slap shot blocked out in front. And once again, it is number 19 doing the job, Scott Haycock, who just positions himself so solidly in front of that Ottawa goal. Penalty is expired. Back at full strength of 4-on-4 hockey right now. York back into his own end. This is Moses York, again with 7 goals on the tournament. Just dumps it down court. Grossklaus with it. Singularly going up the left side. Trying to get around Cameron does by flipping it ahead and chases it down on the forecheck to the corner. Falconer offering support. Falconer the digger. That's a chipped away. York. Tied up. Referee's arm is up in the air, and it looks like Mr. York has been called for an infraction.
So we are even now at 3 penalties apiece. As you can see, these boards are rather soft, and they're 12 inches high all the way around. And as you were mentioning, Wally, the speed of these games is really something because there's no icing, and I haven't seen an offsides as of yet.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, they've been very aware of that. I think that's one of those things that as the tournament progresses, they get used to each other in this competition. You know, they're much more aware of it.
Right.
But yeah, we have not had an offside.
And the other thing too, this rink is a rectangle instead of an oval, so you don't see as much action off the boards as you normally would in say, a regular ice hockey game.
Ottawa short for the third time in this game, and they trail 2-1. 2 straight penalties to them now. Here's Mike Falconer trying to jam it in. He's at the side of the goal. Being watched quite closely, though, by Haycock, number 19. Falconer still has it. Flips it out in front.
Yeah,
unable to turn and take a shot was Gerald Doucette. Bounced off to the corner for Nathan Grouse-Klaus. The captain sends it behind the net. Quick turnaround jam and almost went in off the stick of Falconer. Here's another attempt as Doucette tries a shot. Good pressure now being applied by Calgary. They take a shot wide of the goal and bounced out of play.
Of course, Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub just up the street, and I was mentioning earlier that's the toughest height-wise interview I've ever done. I'd like to think him around 5'4". Tom on skates is about 7 feet. But he sure is a super guy.
Yeah.
Of course, he does a great job on radio for the Wild broadcasts on KFAN.
Yeah, long-time hockey broadcaster in this area. Here is Gerald Doucette holding the ball, setting up now for Falconer. He lifts one. Oh, a nice arm save as Thalia McBride got her left arm on it. Falconer again with it, tries to jam it in, but it's blocked by the defenseman, Haycock. Cameron after it, number 73, can't get there, digging away again, as he always seems to be around the ball, is Mike Falconer, their leading goal scorer. Bounce back down to the corner. Grouse-Klaus goes around the net. McBride cuts it off. Centering ball out in front. Turning and shooting. Falconer scores! Mike Falconer ties up this hockey game. Or pardon me, it's 3-1 now.
Mm-hmm.
These two colors have mixed me up.
Yeah, it is a shame that it was just a case of where Calgary must not have had a jersey other than red, and so they're wearing black as they see the replay. As Falconer gets his 11th goal, as he has scored almost as much as the rest of the team combined to get them back to a 2-goal lead.
11 goals now for Falconer.
Scoring for Calgary, number 34, Mike Falconer.
Huge goal.
Assisted by number
2-goal
30,
lead
Gerald
now.
Doucette.
It's not a power play. Gerald Doucette picks up the lone assist on that play as he centered it out in front for Falconer to shoot. Now Sean Paul, who has the other 2 Calgary goals, in for the faceoff. Here's Awad behind his net now for Ottawa. Mohamed Awad tries to pass it up for Harb, but it's blocked by Paul. Paul turns off the boards, heads towards the net, had a man out in front, but couldn't thread it through. Tied up under the chair of Awad. Continuing after it is Paul, trying to fling it out in front, can't. Calgary leading 3-1. Now with 9:15 to go. A bouncing ball comes right in on goal and stopped there by Jeff Barrett.
I'm guessing that Awad and York are both level 1 players because they seem to be trading off, coming on and off the court.
Pass up court by Grouse-Klaus, and it goes out of play. We'll face it off to the right of the Calgary net.
Again, the ball here used is just like a wiffle ball that you'd play with in your backyard. And the sticks are comparable to floor hockey sticks. Just the blades are a little more open, and you're not allowed to have any wood or anything inside the stick.
Loose ball at center court. Harb chops it back down into the attack zone for Ottawa. However, it is Sean Paul around his net, taking control for Calgary, who have a 2-goal lead. Not looking like they want to get in too much of a defensive mode. Bourbonnais setting up a pick out in front as Paul lifts it back down court. Rachel Dean after it, but it's knocked away from her. Goes into the corner for Grossklaus. And we have a whistle. Not sure what the call is on that one. Apparently it's going to be a minor penalty against 35 Sean Paul of Calgary. Key time right now for this power play. 6:48, Paul off. Face off, back in the defensive zone. Ben Thorne lost a face off. Awad lifts it just wide. There's a crease violation for Paul. Fifth power play for Ottawa in this game. That could be the turning point in this one when you analyze at the end of the day, Jerry.
And again, Ottawa not being very aggressive. They usually with two players in the attacking zone and one defender at the midcourt stripe and one still right around the net. Good save there.
Oh, a couple of good saves. Nice job by Barrett making back-to-back stops off of Harb. Here's Mohammed Awad setting the power play up. Has only Harb out there to pass it to. Sailing a little bit further back at center court area is Rachel Dean. Flipped out in front, but bounces away from Harb. He scoots after it, keeps it down low. Bourbonnais will leave it for Thorne. Awad in on the forecheck. For Ottawa in the red, trailing by 2. And on the power play for the 5th time in this game. Bourbonnais rolls over the ball, leaving a trailer on a nice little smoke screen there that was set up. It's cleared by Klaus, but not out. Held in at center court. That's the only offside area of this brand of hockey. Awad coming in front, met by a wall of black-clad Calgary selects.
Grossklaus doing a nice job using Bourbonnais kind of as a lead blocker to kill some penalty time.
And a good job killing more time back behind his goal. We saw him earlier on a penalty kill doing the same thing. Grossklaus trying to wait for Thorne to stay onside. This is delayed. So Grossklaus is just going to come all the way back and continue to chop away at that clock. Only 5 seconds left in the penalty time now. Nice job. Penalty time over. It puts Calgary back at full strength. And they're offside at center court. That's a big kill. 6:08 to go.
Again, with the 2-goal lead, how often, Wally, do you see a team pull the goalie to go for a 5th attacker? I have seen some of the webcasting games. I haven't seen it happen yet.
No, you don't see it a whole lot. But now we find Mohammed Awad has been sent off for a penalty for Ottawa. Their 4th minor. That comes at 8:52. Play underway. Thorne with it. Awad too getting a crease violation. Again, that goal crease, nobody can go in there. That's goalie only in there. Harb. This is Roddy Harb. Short-handed. And, boy, Ottawa right now, Jerry, they need some offense some way, and certainly this penalty late in the 3rd is not going to help things.
No, at the very least, you figure Calgary can milk that 90 seconds off the clock and make it even more difficult for Ottawa.
Calgary, the top defensive team in the tournament, as we're in our 3rd place game with 5:38 to go. Calgary leading 3-1. Thorne leaves it off. Gross-Klaus on the power play down the right wing. He's got a man out in front. Sean Paul, who already has 2 goals in this game, can't quite thread it through. Speeding to the corners, Ben Thorne to gain control. Watched by Hart. Thorne looking over both shoulders, and it's deflected out of play as he tried to pass it.
Again, in the championship here following this third place game will be the Philadelphia Power Play and the Minnesota Saints.
Three-peat for Minnesota?
You never know. Again, Chad Wilson, the way he's been playing, 20 goals in 5 games, including 7 in his last effort last evening as they blitzed Ottawa 8-1.
And watch out for Philadelphia's Jake Saxton, 13-year-old who leads the entire tournament in scoring.
Right.
Referee positioning the ball. Gets out of the way so she doesn't get run over as it's dropped. Turning and shooting is Mike Faulkner. Pass block. Gross-Klaus trying to get to it as both he and Faulkner are down there. Gross-Klaus goes off to the other direction. Has it. Spinorama. Denny Savard, eat your heart out. These are real spinoramas. Put out in front. There's a loose ball. And no, it stopped right on the goal line. Save made by Thalia McBride.
He was trying to actually hit a deflection, it seemed, off of the Ottawa play.
Yeah. Faulkner on the face-off with a Harb. Faulkner with the ball. Turns, shoots. McBride stops it. It's loose in the crease and just trickles wide of the goal. Gross-Klaus getting it again. Hands it off. Oh, a nice sharp shot by Faulkner is right on, and another save for McBride. That's a little good give and go there between Gross-Klaus and Faulkner.
It really was. They certainly work well together on the court.
4.5 to go, third period. And as you see, it's still 3-1 Calgary. Still shorthanded for another dozen seconds are Ottawa. Meanwhile, Faulkner trying to take advantage of this manpower. Flings one towards the side of the net, but it's tied up in a chair, so we'll have another face-off.
Faulkner doing a really nice job there. That's something you see a lot in ice hockey, using your body and in this case also your chair to help protect the ball and just whittle a little more time off that Ottawa needs right now.
Penalty now has expired. Mohamed Awad back on the court, goes off and swaps spots there with number 7, Moses York, who comes on. Mike Faulkner, meanwhile, plays it through a couple of chairs, speeds after it, but Harb gets back first. Roddy Harb stick handling behind his goal. Sends it right into the goal mouth. McBride just tips it ahead. Harp picks it up on the go. Tries a headman pass to York. York after it, but it's Bourbonnais squeezing off the attack and forcing the play to the corner. Good job. Bourbonnais got those angles down just great, doesn't he? Long shot, right on goal. McBride stick save. Gross-Klaus backhanding it over to Faulkner. The two of them working deep in the zone. Both go around the net. Bounced out in front. Faulkner trying to play it off of a chair into the net. Doesn't go.
A nice job there by Johnson Wilson as he now getting more into the offensive end as Ottawa here needs to score 2 in 3 minutes, which will certainly not be easy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Gross-Klaus trying to eat up clock time along with Faulkner, and they're doing a magnificent job of that. It's Faulkner stick handling up court. Holding up was Gross-Klaus. This remain offside. Faulkner's shot goes wide of the goal. Into the corner for it is Ben Thorne. Trying to center, block, and breaking back is York. York with a long shot. Bourbonnais angles it off. Makes another block right there in front of the goal. York once more trying to thread it through. He's got a man out in front, Johnson Wilson, waiting at the edge of the goal crease. York still with it.
Faulkner broke his stick of all things.
Oh, bounce. Delayed penalty coming. Or is it? Two officials had their arms in the air.
And Falconer broke his stick. He's going to get a breather as Sean Paul will take his place.
And it does look like a penalty once again called to Roddy Harb. The tournament penalty leader picks up his third minor penalty in this game.
Aggressiveness in his case can be a good thing. He's very impressive and one of the leading scorers and a hard worker, but also now 22 minutes of penalties. And again, here it makes it very, very difficult for Ottawa to get back in this game.
3-1 Calgary, just 2:08 to go, and of course the minor penalty to Ottawa is not helping their standing at all. York will take it, rounds his net. Another crease violation for Harb. Ball rolls out in front. Grabbed off by Thorne. Lost it. York trying to reach back for it behind his chair. Now hands it ahead for Johnson Wilson. Play was onside. Came back across the line, delayed offside. So those two are going to have to tag up. Johnson and York do. But there's 4 players back for Calgary and plenty of room and time to come up court. Long shot knocked down in front. York after it, trying to swat it away, and does. York banks it off the boards. Jammed a little bit by Thorne. Dropped back. Shot from the slot is blocked on the attempt by Sean Paul, who has 2 of the 3 Calgary goals as we enter the final minute of this third place game. Play is blocked, and we have a whistle. A heated rivalry. I mean, you got 2 Canadian teams here, Jerry, and like you pointed out, they met just a year ago for the Canadian. Was it 2 years ago or last year for the Canadian title?
It was just last year.
Yeah.
And again, Calgary breaking the Ottawa Hearts, scoring with just 5 seconds left in regulation to win 2-1. And right now, it looks like they're going to have a similar outcome. Big save.
Yeah, nice stop there, as we have seen Jeff Barrett do so many times in this tournament, the leading goalkeeper, the most saves and the best average. And he's going to lower that 199 even lower with just a half a minute to go. Launch down court.
I think Mark Flores is checking in the game for Calgary, and he's going to head back off as Bourbonnais comes in.
Three against 4 right now. Now Ottawa resumes full strength, but there's only 10.5 seconds left, and it's all but wrapped up right now. Calgary will be your third place champion in the 2014 PowerHockey Cup tournament. Had a great opening ceremony just a couple of days ago on Monday for introducing all these players. Special guests were here, and there's been some good media coverage for this tournament as well.
Yeah, you mentioned Bob Paradise and Tom Chorsky, both former Gopher greats, were on hand here for that. And that's the final, and an excellent game as Calgary holds on to win 3-1. They end up 4-2 on the tournament. Ottawa ends up 3-3. As Calgary, again, the best team out of Canada here this week as well.
Yep.
Can we get all third
One other team with a Toronto Lake Raiders.
Right.
Didn't get into the final 4 teams of this tournament, but now the handshake going on between these 2 teams. Well played match. You know, it was pretty even all the way throughout. Just some extremely strong defensive play, though, by Calgary. And, of course, you go back that first period, Jerry, those 2 quick goals, 53 seconds apart by Paul. And that's pretty much the difference in this one.
Right, and as you mentioned, Wally, Jeff Barrett doing a great job in between the pipes for Calgary as he's been the tournament's leading goaltender, and Nathan Grossklaus doing a nice job on both the offensive and defensive ends, but especially in the second and third periods as he controlled the puck very well and kept it away from Ottawa in numerous opportunities and helped them to the 3-1 victory.
Both of these teams will be posing for some team photos here as they culminate their tournament efforts. It's just wonderful to see when you've got 8 teams from across North America that come into this tournament here and participating. And it's a big effort, as you can well imagine, with wheelchair-bound participants coming in with their family and friends and put up in local hotels here that have to be wheelchair accessible. And they've just really enjoyed themselves. They've had a chance to talk to a bunch of the participants, and it's been wonderful.
It looks like we have a group picture here for the teams. Wally, I want to thank you so very much for helping us out for the third place game. As you see, our outstanding CTV crew, and we will take a quick break. We'll be back for the third place ceremonies, and then very shortly we'll have the championship game between the Minnesota Saints and the Philadelphia Power Play. This is CTV's coverage of the 2014 Power Hockey Cup.